So let's confirm, and look at that, it's only May 1942, so we're not even that late, and we could easily go after the Soviet Union now. We have a claim on the Soviet Union. It's very, very nice that we were able to take down the UK and the United States together as early as May 1942, after taking down the Axis. Of course, now we have infinite manpower, we have a huge amount of factories, and we have insane amounts of resources. We can cancel everything now. We get billions of resources, and we have the biggest navy ever. So yeah, that's pretty much a GG. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. In my last video, we concluded our Napoleonic France guide by avenging Napoleon's most staggering defeat in the Russian campaign. However, many of you requested an alternative version of the war versus the Allies. One in which we failed to take down the UK in time and the USA joins the war against us. So in today's video, we are going to try to defeat the Allies at full strength. Naturally, if you haven't watched them yet, make sure to check out the other episodes in this series to see exactly how we got to this point. I will also include a link to the playlist in the description. Before we start, as usual, if you have been following the channel and enjoying the content I make, please do not forget to support the channel by liking the video, subscribing and leaving a comment. Also, feel free to let me know in the comments if you have any doubts or suggestions for further improvements. Now that's really all for the introduction, so let's get straight into our setup for the Allies. Okay, so now if you purchase the tier 2 membership to the channel, you will find an additional page at the bottom called France versus the Allies and the USA, with additional instructions on how to manage the war versus the Allies. Also, where are we starting back from? Because in the last episode we had defeated the Soviet Union, so I reloaded my save right after forming the French Empire. So this is right after defeating the Axis and annexing Italy. In this case, we are in time to declare war on the United Kingdom, because of course I was in time for that, but we are going to wait long enough for the United States to join. Actually, interestingly, I found out that the United States tend not to join the war. Even if you declare war on the United Kingdom a bit late and Japan attacks the Philippines, not always the United States join the Allies in time. So in order to make sure that we fight both the United States and the United Kingdom, we're actually going to fabricate a claim on the United States. We also need to set up our armies a bit differently, because what I told you in the video versus the Allies is, yes, it's alright if you cannot take down the UK in time, you just invade the United States from Curaçao and it's going to be totally fine. And yes, we are going to do that, but it's not as easy as I thought it would be, so it does require quite a bit of additional setup to get it to work. Now, this first thing that we're going to do is actually optional, but I do recommend doing it because otherwise we are going to lose our colonies. So since the United Kingdom basically is everywhere in Africa, we want to release all of our colonies in Africa as puppet. In this way, they will not be part of the war and we're not going to lose them. Overall, they don't have much, so we are not losing that much by doing this. Just be careful not to return territory, so only release the nations that you can release as a puppet, and the other ones we can keep. Now, one that is very important, however, is Guinea, or Guinea. I don't know how the pronunciation is, but we want to release... I think this is actually... Wait, where is it? It's actually... Yeah, that's not the right one, right? It's Guyana that we need, not Guinea. Yeah, what we absolutely want to release is the Caribbeans and Guyana. And we'll get there a bit later. I think it may be called Cayenne. Let's see if it is that one. Yes, this one. Okay, so we want this to be independent. Otherwise, sometimes Brazil joins, but especially the United Kingdom, and I think Suriname is now part of the Allies, so they will immediately conquer this land. But this land is actually very important for our strategy, so we want to make sure to keep it. And this is the best way to do so. And then the other one is Guadalupe, these 3 islands in the Caribbean, so also very important. And by the way, you would have these ones in any case, So say that you didn't take Curaçao from the Netherlands for some reason, you can also trigger the naval invasion of the United States from here. And alternatively, you can also do it from this little island here. This is actually our land as well. The only issue with this island is we cannot release this one as a puppet. This is actually our, well, it's a colony state, but we cannot release it to anyone else, which means it's vulnerable to naval invasions from the United States. The big advantage of releasing this land as puppets is that they will not be part of the war, and so the United States will not be able to invade them before we actually trigger our naval invasion. Now, I usually do not release Madagascar, and Vietnam is also a bit of a tough choice because we do import quite a lot of stuff from Vietnam. So that's, I guess, up to you. Especially there is a lot of rubber, and we're going to be in dire need of rubber. I did release Laos and Cambodia, however. So we are a bit more protected here. Let's see, I will try not to release it and see what happens. Same for Madagascar. While Syria, on the other hand, we absolutely want to release, otherwise they will just be conquered immediately. Tahiti we can probably keep, that's another one that is unlikely to be invaded. And so that's about it. We basically only kept Madagascar, Vietnam and Tahiti, and we released as puppets everything else we could release as a puppet. Again, just to be clear, this is not mandatory, but it will prevent all of our colonies in Africa from instantly being conquered by the Allies. Now, next, we want to improve the infrastructures in these regions that we are going to use to invade the United States. So first of all, we build the infrastructures in there, and then we also build supply hubs. We're going to need them a lot. You can build up to 3 in here because it's 3 different islands, and another 2 here. I usually build all of them, and I do the same for naval bases. All of these places we want as high level naval bases as possible so that we can deploy our navy and our units in here and invade the United States from here. After that, it doesn't really matter what you do with your infrastructures or with your buildings. But what I usually do is I build more in the puppets so that we can decrease their autonomy later on. Something like this. Now, this is right after World War II, so we got the Italian and German navies. They are not great, but they are better than nothing. So we're going to merge all of our navies into one here in the north, and we want to train them. We will have some time, though you may have a little less time since you probably finished the war a bit late. In any case, if you think you have enough time, try to train your navy so they will put up a bit more fight against the Royal Navy. Will be a tough challenge for us. Now we're also going to take this chance to move de Gaulle here to make him our first offensive army, and I will actually send everyone to one of the harbors here in northern France, and then with groups of 2 we plan a naval invasion of the UK from here to the area of Newcastle, Hull.
Gardez vos rangs. Attention. Pareil. Pareil.
And we go for something like these. These are all groups of 2. Then of course we also need to plan the invasion of Poland, which is part of the Allies. This would have been the case even just going after the UK. So we plan a spearhead to take all of the main victory points, and this should be enough. Let's also see if we have some nice trades to assign. Always worth assigning them. Maybe not this one. Infantry expert is quite important, so assign all of the infantry experts you can.
Pareil.
Now we do need one defensive army to protect this part of France from Poland, well, Germany, but this is now a core territory of France, if you because we are the European Union.
Gardez vos rangs.
And the other two defensive armies, we are going to use them to protect the coastal regions of France, starting maybe from down here.
Attention.
So usually I set them to protect only the coastline and the naval bases. So something like this. Otherwise we will not have enough units. We can also assign the mountaineers to do the same thing. For now we are not going to use them for anything else. Now, we should have quite a bit of extra divisions that we actually took from Italy when we annexed them. And we are going to use these divisions to protect the Mediterranean Sea. We assign them a general and then we set them on area defense, again only coastal regions and naval bases. But we want to protect the entire Mediterranean coast. With one exception, we are not going to try to protect Corsica and Sardinia. It's going to be tough to protect them, and it's alright even if the UK takes them, which is what usually happens. As long as they don't get into the mainland, we can lose Corsica and Sardinia temporarily. So this should be good enough. Now we want to make sure that everybody is fully trained, so I'm going to shift click on training for all armies. And our planes are also going to play an important role, so I'm going to deploy all of the new planes we have available. It's quite a bit actually. And I'm going to make sure that everyone, everywhere is training. Next, we are going to make an adjustment to def. I want to add some support artillery to make them a bit more viable offensively. Give them better stats in any case. And then we want to recruit a total of 48 additional offensive divisions. That's another extra 2 armies. And later on, we will actually lack the manpower, but we will fix that problem later. So later on, we also want another 2 defensive armies, a total of 46 divisions again. So an extra 2 offensive armies and extra 2 defensive armies. I'm going to make some adjustments to our production. So in terms of military production, we're going to leave trucks and civilian trains at 1, that's okay. But support equipment, anti-air and artillery go to 15 each. Then 50 factories assigned to the F2, 25 to C2, and everything else goes into infantry equipment. As soon as we start the war, we're going to start having problems with rubber. So we're not going to be able to produce as many planes. By the way, let's upgrade the MIOs for these ones. Now, I'm actually also going to make some adjustments to our naval production. And the main adjustment is after finishing these convoys, I will start making some heavy ship hulls. You can make something different, but the heavy ship is the best one to get naval superiority. And although it will take a while to get them, if our fleet for some reason gets destroyed, hopefully not, and we need to get the naval superiority to invade, say, the United States without the original fleet, well, these guys are going to give us the best chance of getting the naval superiority, assuming that we cannot destroy the US fleet and the Royal Navy together. Our only goal will be to trigger the naval invasion and then manage it on the land. And you should be able to keep up the production of 9 of these heavy ship hull at the same time. So I will queue up 9 of them, and then the extra dockyards I will send to additional convoys. Now, very soon we will need to adjust trade a little bit as well, of course. And the other thing we want to do at this point, since we just formed the French Empire, we'll not be able to take relief of command anymore as soon as I wait for 1 day. As you can see, it switches. So this one is not too bad, but I prefer Professional Officer Corps. So we're going for Professional Officer Corps instead. The other thing we can do at this point is the occupation law. We want to change it to local police force. Okay, this is the same as it would have been going after only the UK. And in terms of focuses, again, we follow the same route, the same exact thing we would have done anyway. Although in this case, it's particularly important to get to Je suis le déluge, so that we get that amazing extra manpower. Let's go down for Waterloo. We also need that, of course. We can continue. At 150 political power, we are going to pick the elusive gentleman. We get an additional spy, and we're going to send our spy to the United States immediately in Los Angeles. And we're also going to start upgrading the branches of the agency to get a 3rd spy. I'm going for suicide pills and then all of the departments. Nice, we got a seducer. Spy even more in the States. We want to start a collaboration government as soon as possible. We got our claim on the UK, and normally at this point you would want to declare war on the UK right away. And in fact, in your run you probably should do that, but I'm not going to do it because in this run I want to simulate you being late and the United States joining. So we're going to wait until Japan attacks the Philippines, then we're going to quickly fabricate a claim on the United States, and then we're going to trigger the 2 wars at the same time. In your run, assuming that you are late, you may want to start the war on the UK immediately. Although you may also want to wait a little bit longer, because this collaboration government is going to be decisive for us. So you need to wait for it in any case. Was I late on picking the focus? I wonder. Might have been late, right? Okay. Okay, we got to 50% with our spies. It means we can prepare a collaboration government immediately. I'll prepare as soon as ready and automatically repeat it as well. Now, in order to automatically repeat it, we need to finish the last 2 upgrades in here and get a 3rd spy. We're going to do that. Oh, and by the way, we are going to switch to quiet intel network as usual, so our spies will not be caught. Okay, we probably got our armies in here, especially I need the offensive armies. There we go. Perfect, and we got a bit of a defensive army as well. Very nice. So we got another 2 full offensive armies, and of course we are going to use these armies.
Attention.
So one of these 2 offensive armies we are going to send with area defense to Guyana, to this area here, so they will not die of attrition too much. The other army, we actually want to split it. We want to have 10 divisions.
Gardez vos rangs.
Separated from the others. I do want the general to be on these ones.
Attention.
So 14 of these divisions are going to area defense in the Caribbean, so they will split around these 3 islands and not suffer too much from attrition, while the other 10 will go to Curaçao, from which we will trigger our naval invasion of the United States. For now, we can send them on area defense, because we cannot plan the naval invasion yet, since we have another one being planned at the moment. Now, it's quite important that you send over these divisions before you start the wars, because otherwise they may be intercepted on the way there. In this way, we will have our invasion force for the United States already in position before we even start the war. The thing we want to do, however, is we want to train them, because these are new divisions, so they are not trained yet. At the same time, we are going to stop training our navy, because soon we will start the war, and we want actually the navy to be in good shape for that. So we're going to split them around a little bit, and I'm going to press repair now, so we make sure that they all repair. Let's also change the amount of harbors we use for repairs. Quite important. We can also pick some of the naval doctrines.
Pareil. Gardez vos rangs.
And by the way, if you get some extra units, this 16, I usually didn't get them. I don't know how we got the manpower for them. Maybe I deployed a bit less planes. In any case, you can use them to help protect the coast, which will be one of the priorities.
Pareil. Attention. Attention.
Yeah, sometimes, and that's the case again, sometimes some of the units do not go to where they are assigned, so let's send them there manually. Otherwise, they will not be in position, so pay attention to this. Sometimes happens. And make sure that all of your divisions, 24 in here and 14 here, 10 here, are going to where you assigned them. Okay, we got the last spy. Now we will need to build into network again a little bit here. No, maybe not, that's fine. It's already 54%, so we send the last spy on Quiet Intel network, and from now on the collaboration government should be able to auto repeat on cooldown, which is perfect. We may be able to pull it out with only one collaboration government, but just in case, if you struggle, having two can help. We're waiting for Japan to do their thing, and there we go. Japan declared war on the Philippines, meaning the United States are now at war. And these should trigger them to join the Allies, but since it doesn't always do so, in this case I'm going to justify war goal on them. It only takes 30 days. And after we get our claim, we can start both wars at the same time and fight the UK and the United States together. There we go. We got our claim on the United States, meaning we are ready to start the wars. So I will make a save just in case. What did I call this? If you're watching the unedited version, you can see I have been doing some testing with doctrines. I will make a very interesting video about that very soon. So, NA versus...
In the American island of Oahu, the Japanese ambassador to the United States and his colleagues.
Okay, so war on the United States, war on the UK. That's it. Now, let's make sure that we can trigger our naval invasion in here, set our navy on naval support. And then the other thing I would recommend doing at this point is locking all of the regions that we do not need. For example, we do not need anything in the Mediterranean Sea. That would only be a waste of convoys being destroyed. You can also lock the other regions around the UK. I may lock this one, although probably we're not going to use it anyway, so probably that's fine. So yeah, you may want to lock everything around the UK as well, or you may want to leave them open. This is up to you. You will lose some convoys in here, but that will also distract the Royal Navy and maybe give a better chance to our divisions to reach the UK. For now, I'm going to block the channel, and then we will see what happens. More importantly, we want to make sure that all planes are assigned. Let's assign all of them to our invasion forces. Then maybe later on we'll assign some of them to protect us from bombing. And the other thing is, since we still have combat casualties from World War II, we're going to pick Exhort Heroism to get rid of some of that malus to war support. And that's it. Let's start our naval invasion. Make sure that everybody is doing it. And yeah, I need to unlock this, otherwise I cannot go. But now I'd like to lock it again.
Gardez vos rangs.
Everything is fine here. Also, Japan would invite us to their faction. If you want, you can join, but I don't think we need to. So we're going to continue just in the same way. And as I mentioned, we will lock rubber. We can import some from Indonesia, but I think very soon Indonesia will actually embargo us. So probably we will not get rubber for much longer. Okay, and they're already attempting a naval invasion. That's why it's very important to set up our forces. They're doing an amazing job here.
People of the United States have already formed their opinions and well understand the implications for the very
And the naval invasion up here is going quite well.
Gardez vos rangs. Bougez-vous.
Now, naval invading on this side of the UK is a bit easier usually, although it does expose your forces to the Royal Navy a bit longer, for a bit longer. Now, we will lose part of our fleet in here, and that's okay, that's normal. We can take those casualties. We need to pull out this invasion and still take out the UK as fast as possible. And by the way, if you're attempting this run, but you don't want the United States to join, if you take down the UK fast enough, they may not join, even if they're at war with Japan. So. Okay, the naval invasion was a success. Now we can assign the entire army here, and we can try to rush the UK down as fast as possible. Now, yes, of course, we need to take down Poland as well. Do not forget, although Poland doesn't take very long to take down, but start the second offensive as well. And now one thing that we may want to do at this point is selecting some of our fighters and send them to actually protect the mainland from bombers. And there we go. Indonesia embargoed us. So goodbye, rubber. Guess we can get a little bit from Siam, but other than that, unfortunately, there isn't much that we can do in terms of rubber. So at this point, probably the wiser thing would be to decrease a little bit the production of planes and to increase the production of other stuff. We do have a lot of planes in any case, and actually we cannot deploy them because we currently do not have the manpower, so... Now, once the naval invasion is successful and your divisions reach the mainland, this one will not do it, apparently. You also may want to stop the naval invasion support. That means we will get less supplies, but we will preserve our navy. It's very important to do so. We are going to need the navy later on for the United States.
Gardez vos rangs.
Finally, we are at the important focus, so we will start getting some manpower soon.
Pareil.
Probably manually
Gardez vos rangs.
speed up the push a bit here.
Pareil. Attention. Pareil.
Did I not tell my fleet to retreat? Guys decided they wanted to die.
Attention.
Okay, we took London. Things are looking good for us.
Gardez vos rangs.
Okay, Poland is down. That's also very good.
Attention.
Now this means that we freed completely
Attention.
one of the defensive armies, first of all. And we also freed one of the offensive armies. They are both going to be very important for us.
Gardez vos rangs.
So the defensive army that we just freed is going to go to the UK, but not yet. So for now we can move them a bit closer. And then after the UK goes down, we're going to send them over to the UK to protect them from naval invasions. And now, of course, we are going to take a lot of convoys, raided malices. So we are going to go for encourage frugality to decrease a bit the malices from the convoys. Maybe we can send some additional planes fighters to protect Italy from bombings.
Parez. Parez. Bougez-vous.
Taking Dover should be enough to end the
Continuez
UK.
l'attaque.
There we go. The United Kingdom is down, but so far everything as expected. The difficult part comes now, because now we need to take care of the United States. A much tougher target. Now I'm going to unblock the English channel, because I actually want our troops to move to the UK, and from the UK to the mainland. They will be intercepted. We are not going to care. Actually, although it doesn't look like that at the moment, manpower will not be an issue for us. The equipment is not an issue. So losing troops is not a big problem. Losing the navy is a much bigger problem, because if we run out of navy, we can say goodbye to our naval invasion of the United States, and that's basically a GG. At this point we can start planning the naval invasion of the United States. Let's make sure that everybody has the highest motorization priority in here. Well, I don't think these guys had it. In any case, we're going to plan a naval invasion with groups of 2 of the area of New Orleans.
Gardez vos rangs.
The most difficult part about this naval invasion is clicking on this freaking island without cancelling the other orders you gave before.
Parez.
Again, if you do not have Curaçao, you can do it from one of the other islands. It doesn't change that much.
Attention. Attention.
And there we go. So groups of 2, we try to take some harbors in this area, and it might be tough, so this is an important part of our naval invasions and of the war.
Gardez vos rangs.
Then we're going to move this offensive army .
Gardez vos rangs.
Just checking my own spreadsheet. So we're going to send this offensive army that was in the UK back to France, to an area around here, so we can send them later on to the Caribbeans and to the United States. And we also need to send our entire fleet here. We can keep them split and we can send them to different harbors, so they don't... definitely not to this one, otherwise we will run completely out of supplies. We want to prevent that if possible. But yeah, we do need our navy to be in that region. Then, as I mentioned earlier, we will send the
Attention.
remaining defensive army that we have in here to protect the coastal regions of the United Kingdom, which is basically everything. First, we are going to give up on Ireland. We don't care. And we can make more convoys. Also, we are losing them pretty quickly, so we do need extra convoys. Okay, this is the naval invasion that the United States usually trigger in this little island we have in the north. So you could have some divisions in here, but it's very small, out of supplies. So in my opinion, it's better to go from here and just ignore that. What the heck are you going now? Don't move around. Very dangerous. And let's see if miraculously we can get our units across without them dying, despite the lack of the navy. And there we go, Indonesia is now fully Indialized. But the good thing about being with Japan is that Japan should be able to take care of some of these people. Now, the other important thing here is seeing who is considered a major. And definitely, of course, the United States are considered a major. If Indonesia is not considered a major, I'm a lot happier, because this would be a mess to invade. We would actually rely probably on the Japanese to do so. Usually they are not considered a major. Unfortunately, usually Norway is considered a major. So at some point later on, we will need to invade Norway. Now, as I mentioned, we have an extra army here, an extra offensive army, that we are going to actually keep for now in France, both to defend from naval invasions and later on to invade Norway if needed. Okay, our fleet is already in position. Our naval invasion is basically ready. Pretty happy with what I see in terms of bombings. I think we pretty much prevented them. Maybe we can just assign a couple of them also to Germany. That should be about it. And then all of the other planes, I'm going to assign them to this army, which is about to invade the United States. We're going to need some air superiority in here. Look at these fuckers going somewhere I did not tell them to go. Stop immediately. And these ones too. Okay, anyways. Before our navy starts doing their weird shit again, we are going to set them on naval invasion support. Can you do what I told you? Okay. In these two areas here, two naval regions here, and this should be easy to achieve. I never had issues achieving the naval superiority in here, and it should be enough to trigger our naval invasion. Maybe make a save just in case. Let's go.
Attention.
Naval invasion is triggered. In my experience, this naval invasion is not usually intercepted, which is very important. And being a small group of 10, we can also use some of the special commands if needed, like force attack. Pay attention to this. Okay, I will use a force attack because we want to make sure that they are able to disembark. We already took New Orleans. That's very nice. So we can actually send over all of the other divisions that we have in here. And we can start sending over the divisions that we had in here. So we can cancel the Area Defense Command and we can send them here.
Attention.
It's looking good. We also got another harbor in this area. There's only one in which we're struggling a bit, but soon they will get some help. Also, I see a naval invasion in northern England. Do not have a lot of divisions in there. It's actually not that north.
Gardez vos rangs.
Seems fine. Very nice, very nice. Unfortunately, we did lose one of these offensive divisions to transportation. That's totally right.
Attention.
Make this guy the first one.
Gardez vos rangs.
This guy's here. Okay.
Gardez vos rangs.
Now our first goal in here is actually to stabilize the front, so we do want to wait for additional divisions to get in here before we continue the expansion.
Gardez vos rangs.
Need to keep an eye out for naval invasions like this one. I missed this one, for example.
Bougez-vous.
Okay, I don't think... did they get a harbor? I don't think they did.
Gardez vos
fine
rangs.
then. This is why we gave some offensive potential to our defensive armies, so they can take care of naval invasions like this one. Nice. No problems.
Gardez vos rangs. Gardez vos rangs.
And I can see these guys were not intercepted. That's also very nice. But now we need to rearrange our fleet because now our supplies come from France and of course are being heavily intercepted. So we set the fleet on convoy escort, and this is going to be painful, but it is going to be needed. We don't care so much about convoys going to the UK, but we do want to keep the supply line active and healthy because we need our units in the States to get enough supplies. Now we're also going to split now these two armies and assign them different offensive orders. With one of them, we're going for the Dallas-Houston area.
Attention.
And with the other one, we're going to try to cut off... wait. We're going to try to cut off Florida, pushing to Atlanta and to this harbor in here. Now we do want another army to reach the United States. We want at least 3 offensive armies.
Gardez vos rangs.
And usually what I do is I send de Gaulle, but his army is a bit crippled. So I may send Alphonse Juin instead this time. It's probably a better choice.
Bougez-vous.
Yeah, so let's leave de Gaulle in France. And actually, since de Gaulle is the better general we have, I'm going to switch them around. I'm going to assign de Gaulle to the area in the States. I'm going to keep this army here.
Attention.
And to protect from naval invasions, and then, as I mentioned later on, we probably need to invade Norway. They are still not considered a major, but in my experience, they usually become a major later on.
Gardez vos rangs. Gardez vos rangs.
Now we can try to send over this army. Oh, we're suffering a bit here.
Continuez d'avancer.
Don't push. Who told you to push?
Attention.
We can actually get Alphonse here as well.
Attention.
So we get our best general in the States, of course. It will take them a while to get there, so we're going to wait for now. Finally, we got this focus. I do think I forgot to pick the focus earlier on, so we got it a bit later. But again, that's probably quite realistic with year 1 as well. So this will finally fix, slowly, but fix our manpower issues. And from now on, focuses are not as important. What is important is not to run out of fuel, so I'm going to import some more oil from Romania. And maybe from the Antilles. That should fix the problem.
Paré.
Okay, we lost Sardinia and Corsica, but that's fine. As I mentioned, we were ready to take that loss.
Paré. Attention.
This should be no problem. So it's very important that you keep an eye open for naval invasions. It's a bit tricky to fight on 2 fronts at the same time, but if you don't pay attention and you get a naval invasion in here and the UK manages to conquer a bit of your land, well, we kept one of our offensive armies in there on purpose. So we are kind of protected, but still, it's a bit risky. Okay, I think we can start the first push here in the States. Probably going to be a painful one. The US has some good divisions, so pushing in here is not super easy. But we have better divisions. As soon as we can get the air superiority, we are going to get things done. Let's start the other one too.
Attention.
Okay, a few of our divisions were caught on the way. Again, that's to be expected. This is not a low casualties run and or war. This is a tough one. As long as we get it done, we're happy. Oh, it's the collaboration government. We almost got the first one. That's good.
Gardez vos rangs. Attention.
cost us a lot of fuel. That's okay.
Paré. Gardez vos rangs.
Make sure that our second collaboration government is being prepared. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, now that we have the 3 armies, all of them ready in the States, we can change the plans a little bit here.
Gardez vos rangs.
We can literally assign 1 to each front. So 1 to this front, pushing this area.
Continuez d'avancer.
Something like this. 1 will be in this front, on this front, pushing this area, though we also want to push Florida.
Gardez vos rangs.
And the last one will be right in the middle, pushing north. Into the soft belly of the United States.
Attention. Gardez vos
Let's
rangs.
see if we can already take care of Florida. Probably can.
Paré. Gardez vos rangs. Gardez vos rangs. Attention. 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 Gardez vos rangs.
Now, what we need at this point, once you took most of the cost of the... Why is this guy immortal, by the way? This guy's insane. Okay, we need a defensive army now to protect from naval invasions from the United States. So we are going to send over one of our defensive armies. I'm going to send over this army here. And we're going to replace them with one of the armies that we are currently training. So they're not fully ready yet. That's okay, because this is just a naval invasion protection army. They can get the job done.
Gardez vos rangs.
So these guys, we want them to protect this area now.
Gardez vos rangs.
And with that being done, we can also start pushing even more in the United States. You can tell that the United States actually has pretty good divisions, because we run out of organization very quickly against them. Oh, and there we go. By the way, as I mentioned, now Norway is suddenly considered to be a major. And that's a major annoying thing. But other than that, it's not the worst problem. Now, we do have an offensive army in here, and with this offensive army, we can easily plan a naval invasion of Norway. We're going to send everybody up here to Denmark, and then we're going to plan a naval invasion. Norway is big, it's long, it's annoying to take down, but it should be fine. So we go with groups of 2. We go from
Gardez vos rangs.
and we go from Denmark, and we try to take the harbors in southern Norway. Let's send people with training.
Paré.
Now, what this means, however, is that at some point we will need to send our navy back here to get the naval superiority in there, which will make it a bit more difficult to keep supplies up in the United States, but that's also okay. The United States are definitely suffering our offensive. You see, the US early in the war, it's 1942, they don't have that many divisions. They do have a decent amount of divisions, but their divisions are spread, and mostly they are around these islands. They are fighting the Japanese, they're actually having a terrible time against Japan, thanks to the fact that we are keeping them busy in the mainland. So the United States is still not that difficult to fight at the moment. In a way, invading Norway is more annoying, and especially if you're not fast enough, and do consider that this may be an option, maybe something that happens to you, maybe it happens to us as well. Chile will declare war on Japan or join the allies in any case. Brazil also tends to do that. Brazil also already did that. Okay, that's great. And they may be somehow considered majors, especially Chile has the amazing perk of always being considered a major for no reason. Invading Chile is very annoying. You need to take Panama, and then you can go from Panama. So you need to plan another naval invasion from here. Invading Indonesia is the most annoying thing, but luckily Japan is there, probably encircled, but that's alright. Look at our manpower growing. Okay, now the naval invasion of Norway is ready. So what you could do at this point is you could send a part of your fleet or you can send all of your fleet to Norway. Our fleet is actually currently doing pretty well. I'm going to try to send only a couple of them to try and keep these supplies up. And let's see how that goes. So we want to send these guys to Norway. I don't usually take full fuel refining, but in this case it's quite useful because we do need a lot of fuel to keep up our navies at all times. Probably split them a bit more. No, absolutely not going where I told you to go. That's fucking amazing. Quite typical with the Navy. Okay, you are going where I told you to go. That's nice. At least someone is doing what I told them. I'm actually very happy with how the push in the United States is going. This is a very successful push.
Pareil.
It's very nice. We can easily get the naval superiority in here, so that's perfect. We can trigger our naval invasion already.
Attention.
It's not a very easy naval invasion, so I'm going to use a force attack. With 3 factories, you can literally do whatever you want. Or nothing. Let's do something. So see, the United States are now going to attempt a counter naval invasion. That's why we needed our defensive armies in there.
Tirs ennemis.
And we need to pay attention to this place. It's a bit tricky at the moment. Okay, we finally managed to disembark in here. That's nice.
Bougez-vous. Arrêt. Attention.
We are struggling almost everywhere else.
Attention.
Okay, this is nice.
Bougez-vous. Gardez vos rangs. Gardez vos rangs. Attention. Pareil. Pas de pitié.
Very, very nice. Tricky naval invasion, but we did get it done.
Pareil.
And that's amazing. Now we can send over the remaining troops and we can start pushing in Norway.
Pareil. Attention. Pas de pitié.
I actually do not want to push into Mexico. That's really not needed. So we can probably stop this offensive here.
Gardez vos rangs.
Our guys are doing an amazing job up here, and without even any micromanagement. I'm actually very surprised how successful this push is being at the moment. Very, very nice. Now, one thing here to consider is Norway will not go down very easily until we take Narvik, so we need to plan another naval invasion in here. So I'm going to take 10 of these divisions away.
Attention. Continuez d'avancer.
Yeah, maybe these 10. Create a new army. This is 9 though.
Attention.
Very unfortunate. It's okay, even if it is not a trained one,
Gardez
it's
vos
fine.
rangs. Attention.
I'm actually going to start planning another naval invasion, again with groups of 2, but of this area up
Gardez
here.
vos rangs. Pareil. Tirs ennemis. Pareil. Gardez vos rangs.
And the other guys can just keep pushing.
Pareil. Bougez-vous. Attention.
The United States is actually in big trouble. They may go down very soon. We do need to take New York and Boston for sure, but after that I don't think they have enough victory points to last. That was very successful, very nice. Norway will take a little longer. How about you guys go where you need to and participate in the naval invasion? I mean, you have no orders assigned, but whatever. Let's go for the naval invasion.
Gardez vos rangs.
US is in big trouble here, boys.
Gardez vos rangs.
Now, one very annoying thing about the United States is even if we take them down, if the war is not over, we are still at war with Mexico and with Canada, so they're going to pour into our land and stop us. So we do need the war to be over as fast as possible after taking down the United States. What doctrines do we want to do? Okay, nice. We got some nice victory points in here. Or any cities and anything at all that we can conquer? Nothing. It's absolutely nothing in Norway. Oh, we got Narvik very easily. That's absolutely amazing.
Attention.
So probably Norway is also pretty close to going down. Very close to going down. Perfect.
Gardez vos rangs.
Things are going very well, boys.
Attention.
We have missed the most important place in Mo i Rana.
Gardez vos
I
rangs.
think both is enough. Okay, Norway's down. Norway is down. So only the United States left. And the United States are not having a very good time. However,
Attention.
there is one decisive push missing in here. And they do have a lot of divisions on this front. So this push may be a little tricky. Push for Boston and New York. The last stand for the United States.
Attention.
We need these divisions to actually protect this area here now.
Attention.
And I'm going to need these guys to get this very difficult push done. Let's try it. Of course, we immediately lost Buffalo. We do need Buffalo, probably. Actually, entirely sure that we do.
Attention.
Where is it? Where is it?
Continuez l'attaque. Bougez-vous.
Okay, New York is encircled. Come on, let's get it. We immediately lost encirclement, but we
Gardez vos rangs.
kept New York. That's the important part.
Allez.
Oh, that's it! The United States are down. With New York, we didn't need Boston after all. So that's it, guys. That's it. United States, UK, allies at full power, Brazil. I mean, we were alone. Well, not entirely alone because Japan was part of it, but almost alone against the world with France. And we did it. And we did it very well. I didn't check the timing though. So I will do the peace conference very quickly and we will check the timing. I also didn't check the casualties, but this is not a good stats kind of war. This is a very tough one. But I really wanted to show you guys how to manage an invasion of the United Kingdom and the United States at the same time. With a fleet which is clearly inferior to theirs. Of course, with France and by stealing the Italian and German fleets in World War II, we had a decent fleet. And Japan was helping with at least keeping busy the American fleet. But other than that, this is a very tough kind of challenge, taking the allies at the same time. In the peace conference, you're basically free to do whatever you want. Although I would try to puppet the resource-heavy regions like Singapore, especially because Japan is going to try to prioritize this area. We can probably leave them Indonesia, but I would definitely take Singapore, and then I would prioritize taking the United States entirely. And by the way, I will skip the peace conference, but what I would give up on is probably Indonesia, Australia, New Zealand, the Philippines, of course. You can give these all to Japan and try to take everything else. We actually have 88% of the war score. That's very cool. I did expect Japan to have a little bit more. It's very nice. I do like Hong Kong, but we already have this other place here, so I guess we can give up on Hong Kong. Oh, Japan is in Iceland. Okay, that's fine. Liberia, yes. Japan, you can have it. You can have it. Come on, take the Philippines. What the hell are you doing? Even Uruguay was in this war. Everybody was in this war. We're happy with what we got. I don't think I forgot anything particularly important. Now I do want to make sure that Japan takes... Come on, leave me alone. What is it? What is this place? I'm not giving it. Okay. So New Zealand, you took that. You really don't want Ethiopia. They have points. Yeah, they have points left, but they just won't take Ethiopia. Absolutely do not want Ethiopia. Okay, I will take Ethiopia. You know what? I will make Ethiopia great again one day. And I will conquer Japan with Ethiopia. That's the challenge. We'll teach you not to take Ethiopia. Ethiopia is great. I guess we will split Australia. What else is missing? Yeah, all this nice stuff you can keep for yourself. Ah, Burundi. You also don't want Burundi. But I'm not going to invade you with Burundi. Okay, now the good thing about this is now we can fix our navy problems forever by stealing the navy of the United Kingdom, also the navy of the United States. Basically, with those two navies, we'll never ever need a navy again. Of course, this is the end of this run, which already ended. But in your case, if you're continuing this run, you do have the navies now to take everything you want in the world. Other than this, I actually need the resource rights a bit more. Actually, these resource rights and these resource rights. You know what? I think we're happy. So let's confirm and look at that. It's only May 1942, so we're not even that late. We could easily go after the Soviet Union now. We have a claim on the Soviet Union. We can delay Japan, but we can also get, you know, we can also get into the defection. No, we cannot. We can get a non-aggression pact with Japan, however, so we don't have any issues with them attacking us later on. We can actually ignore Japan and go after the Soviet Union, or we can go after Japan and then the Soviet Union. You have plenty of options here. It's very, very nice that we were able to take down the UK and the United States together as early as May 1942, after taking down the Axis. So, yeah, I did work quite a bit on this strategy, I must say. I prepared it a bit, so I knew, for example, that Norway was going to be a major, and we prepared for that. The first time I attempted this, to be completely honest with you guys, when I told you, like, yeah, it's easy, you just go from Curaçao, I tried and it was a complete disaster. So, yeah, with some adjustments, also with the extra divisions, which are much needed when you are in the United States. With this setup for the Navy, the results are quite impressive, quite good. Of course, now we have infinite manpower, we have a huge amount of factories, and we have insane amounts of resources. We can cancel everything now, so we get billions of resources, and we have the biggest navy ever. So, yeah, that's pretty much a GG. Guys, if you struggle with this run, let me know in the comments, especially if you're a bit later than me. It might be that Chile is also part of it. So as I mentioned, you go for an invasion of Panama and then you go for an invasion of Chile, but that's still a bit annoying. Other than that, I don't really think anything else can come up and disturb too much your run. Do be careful with the naval invasions from the allies in the mainland, because if they can manage to land a naval invasion, then pushing them out can be tricky. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this strategy. I hope it will be useful for you. And this is really the last video dedicated to France. We did play with France quite a lot recently. So we had our Democratic France, Napoleonic France, this extra bonus track on France. But now we really made Napoleon proud. Improved ourselves. So the next big challenge is Communist China. This will be the next video. So guys, make sure not to miss it. Keep following the channel. Your support has been great, and it's very important to keep this project up. So if you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about this whole series dedicated to France. And well, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.